Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us in Talking Points. We're receiving one of the most vocal civil society leaders in Cameroon. Jean-Claude Agbortem, you're welcome.
Thank you, Babila.
A member of Stand Up for Cameroon.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me to this noble platform of this noble television that has been doing great work. And I think our presence here today is to reiterate our support towards what Equinoxe has been doing as far as our nation's building is concerned. We are watching you people, we know what you're doing, and we know the impact that you are bringing as far as democracy is concerned in Cameroon. What's your take on the threats coming from the Minister of Territorial Administration, threats to shut down Equinoxe radio and television and other media outlets over allegations of plans to destabilize the country by some international non-governmental organizations? Well, Mr. Babila, permit me to say the threat was not for Equinoxe television or the other media outlets, but it was a threat against press freedom and the expression of human rights in Cameroon. You see, the press is a platform for expression of opinions, and when someone attacks the press, he is attacking the right of a people, and that is why we have been standing. You've seen people have been reacting in different platforms to tell the minister that you don't play with our rights. Equinoxe is a platform where everyone is called to express his opinion, and when you attack Equinoxe, you attack us, and there is no how we can be indifferent to that attack. What do you think about work being done by Equinoxe Television, the work that is being done here at Equinoxe Television, as far as reporting news is concerned, as far as programs is concerned? Do you see any link anywhere with plans to destabilize the country? Sincerely, you know, since morning, some of us have been coming here to your TV to encourage you guys, to tell you that we are together. I as a person, I will say there is nothing wrong with Equinoxe reporting, because all your programs, you try to balance them. Your debate programs, we always have members of the government who at times don't even come. So they will not blame Equinoxe for bringing out information that Cameroonians need to know. How is that going to destabilize the country? On the contrary, the fact that the regime doesn't communicate is a big setback to our democracy. The fact that the regime doesn't open doors to information, especially when as far as the private media is concerned. You know so well that it's not easy for private media to have access to information from the government. There are meetings they don't give private media the opportunity to get information, to get first-hand information. All that sum up to the fact that the government is not present, and then those who are present, Equinoxe cannot stop them from talking. And even if Equinoxe comes up with something that they got wrong information, I think that a noble regime, what they will do is to come with facts to prove to Cameroonians that the information that Equinoxe has given is not true. We have not seen that. Instead, the minister will take upon himself to make a public show of disgrace, which is not normal for an administrator. What we would have loved to get from the minister is to come in front of Cameroonians, because he is working for us. He is in our payroll. He was supposed to come and say, Equinoxe gave this information, and this is the right information with facts. They have not done that. And I know the minister is reacting based on what happened in Gabu. Everybody cannot be wrong, and it's the minister alone. And we have not seen the minister concerned was the Minister of Defense. We have not seen the Minister of Defense come up with real facts to contradict the information that the human rights bodies brought forth. And even the church. Even the church. And Mr. Atanga Nji cannot claim that the church is wrong. I'm a Catholic, and I believe that before the bishop of a Roman Catholic church comes in front of the press to give an information and organizes a mass for that purpose, there is a lot of fact-finding, fact checks, and all forms of verification. And then the bishop is on the ground. So even if members of the redacts were wrong, the United Nations were wrong, the bishop will not be wrong. That is not true. So the problem is with Mr. Atanga Nji. He should go back to himself and understand that their approach in handling what the Anglophone crisis is what is making us to be where we are today. And I think that is what he's trying to hide, because the press is bringing out happenings, real happenings that they are trying to hide. And that is why they want to silence the press so that the truth will not be known. But they should also know that silencing the press doesn't mean silencing witnesses, because we have witnesses from Gabu that gave clear evidence of what happened.
Now, the government is concerned with maintaining the unity and stability of the country. And that's why Minister Atanga Nji talks about plans to destabilize the country. But
the best way for Minister Atanga Nji...
The issue is, where is it, how is it being manifested? How is publishing right information? How is publishing right figures, facts from sources, from the church, from the organizations that have done investigation on the ground, that have even used satellite images to back up their findings? How is it a plan to destabilize the country?
No, the problem is not with the figure. The problem is with their approach. They are trying to, they have been trying to deceive Cameroonians and the international community that their fake national dialogue was yielding fruit. Mr. Atanga Nji should also go back to the Constitutional Council and blame them for cancelling the election in Southern Cameroon. All these are facts to prove that the government is doing nothing. The approach of the government is a wrong approach. They chose military action in a political situation, and that has led us to where we are today. That's what they are trying to hide. Because when I just followed what the governor was doing. Oh, come on. For how long? We know some days
ghost town.
The ghost towns are still going on. And then when you come up and rally some few people to march, and you say, we know very well that there is no peace in Southern Cameroon. Even as we are talking now, there are gunshots in some parts of Southern Cameroon. The minister will not deny that. He himself,
last night was a very tense night.
He himself cannot go to Southern Cameroon as we are speaking. If he has to go there, there must be a heavy battalion. The governor is moving on armored cars. People were transported in armored cars to go and vote. That is what Mr. Atanga Nji is trying to hide, because their approach and the fact that the military lacks professional approach in handling this crisis is what is taking us to where we are today. And we need to face facts. And I think that Mr. Atanga Nji is supposed to work with the press, the human rights bodies that have been calling for one thing. We need a ceasefire, and we need to sit on the table. They started by pretending we don't talk with terrorists. Who are terrorists and who are not? On the contrary, those who are refusing the truth about the situation in Southern Cameroon can be considered terrorists, because everything is clear. We need to talk. And having extremist positions the way it has been going in Southern Cameroon is going to make us lost more lives. They should be concerned about that, not about figure. They should be concerned about the unity of Cameroon. And we cannot say we are united if we don't talk. We cannot say we are united if people sit in Yaoundé and make fake declarations about things that are not real on the ground.
The Minister of Territorial Administration, the Minister of Territorial Administration says that these media organs and the international non-governmental organizations are doing everything possible to tarnish the image of a professional army. But you are saying that that army is not professional?
We know very well our army is not professional. The reality is on the ground. There are images where we have seen the army carry out, in fact, what they call in French, ratissage. You can't imagine that. You can't imagine that because a military man is killed in a village, they will come and burn the whole village. That is being unprofessional. How many villages have been burnt? Go and ask Barrister Bala's report. We are talking of more than 250. And if we have to update that, is that how you call a professional army? A professional army is supposed to defend the people. A professional army is not supposed to mix those they consider criminals or terrorists with everybody. Why are people running away from villages? Why do we have refugees? Because they are running away from the military. And that is a fact. And if the minister thinks that it is the press that is tarnishing the image, the press does not create information. The press gives information. The minister should tell me how many times Equinoxe has been on ground to create information and tarnish the image. No, Equinoxe reports. If Equinoxe sees that there was a black wall, it is for Equinoxe to say there was a black wall. And the minister should also understand that today Equinoxe credibility is also at stake. Because if Equinoxe does like the national press, we have other media outlets today, we have Facebook, the images will disprove you people. And there are many people today who don't rely on the national press because we know the information they bring forth is not true. So Equinoxe has the right to bring the information as it is. And if the government think that they have something contrary to that, I don't think Equinoxe will stop them. Equinoxe has never stopped. I know that Equinoxe has been inviting many ministers for program and they don't come. Why don't they come? Let them come and tell Cameroonians the contrary of the information that we have. The fact that they don't come means that they are guilty.
Whatever the case, like as the Equinoxe Chief Executive Officer Severin Chunke said yesterday in the 8 p.m. news, we will continue to do our job. We will continue to give Cameroonians right information, right facts and figures streaming into our studio. And as we move to the ground to get the facts, we will give them out to the people within the ambits of the ethics and deontology of the profession. Agbortem Jean-Claude, member of Stand Up for Cameroon, thanks for coming.
It was a pleasure, Babila. I will always be here whenever you invite me.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. Goodbye.